We land on the Talon 4's overworld, but quickly realize we can't do much here and go to Chozo Ruins. These ruins are definitely ruined, so let's look at what you couldn't miss. As soon as we enter the plaza of Chozo Ruins, we instantly start encountering many engravings of birds across the walls. These clearly are foreshadowing to the incoming threat of flying enemies, which we haven't encountered up to this point. Our first encounter with Ions happens in Chozo Ruins in one of its many hallways, and while there's nothing special about this creature in particular, this is the one instance of the scan actually lying to us, because it tells us that it's entirely composed of ocular tissue, even though it doesn't actually look like it is, and from my human eye, I'm pretty sure it isn't. The Mecha Hive boss fight is a very crazy fight to introduce us to the threats we will see on Talon 4, and while Mecha might not be the best description of the machine, that's not what we should point out. What we should focus on is the amount of ram war wasps that fit inside of it. With the amount attacking us, either the ram war wasp can anatomically shrink, or the hive can distort its inner dimensions, expanding its interior, and based off of how no ram war wasps escape its demise, it's most likely the latter, ending in them all being crushed due to system malfunction. Stone toads are one of the few enemies that attempt to eat Samus during her ball state. While this does seem like hostile behavior, the stone toads are actually being responsible, accidentally ingesting Samus because her ball state looks like the stone toad's prescription medicine. The Incinerator drone is a mechanoid created for waste management, though, similarly to the Hive Mecha's name failings, drone is not the best naming scheme for this machine, because unlike drones, the Incinerator drone is locked in place, more like a turret, but that's besides the point, with the destroyed Hive implying the turret was turned off for a period of time. To even allow for this Hive to form, what exactly turned this turret back on? Clearly, the only explanation is the Beetles, who similarly inhabit the ruins, have a generational grudge against war wasps, and saw the Hive Mecha's destruction as an opportunity to take back territory such as this room. And speaking of beetles, let's talk about their ancestry, because while this is not noticeable in the plated beetles, normal beetles have a very similar face structure to the Chozo. This implies that the beetles and the Chozo people were once a unified race, but due to years of evolution, they became separate. The main boss of the ruins is Flagra, which used to be the centerpiece greenery of the Sun Chamber until its mutation due to Phazon called forth its toxic properties. Though while many do believe that Phazon was the cause, it actually is a combination of two factors, with the first, as we all know, being the Phazon, but the second was the grudge Flagra had against the Chozo people, because as we all know, the Chozo were a very nature-centric people, and when nature is calling, where else would a people such as the Chozo use the restroom other than on Flagra? While this place is a ruins, it's a little weird that the Tower of Light has so many beams that are so poorly supported and are pretty much crumbling under the weight of the tower. Why this is the case is actually pretty simple. Because the Chozo people are a very naturalistic people, they decided to let many things weather and wear down over time, even if it meant letting their own buildings collapse on top of them. While remnants of the Chozo people are the definition of these ruins, the Chozo ghosts are the remnants of those who left the remnants. These ghosts are extremely defensive and usually engage anything they see on sight. While you would think they would be able to identify Samus as their prophesied savior, as we see in the Chozo lore, something is keeping them from recognizing us. Sadly, this means that the Chozo ghosts are little more than spectral beings with the muscle memory of the departed, replaying defensive protocols that kept the Chozo safe years prior. You can consider the video concluded. If this video brought you any sort of enjoyment, you know what to do.